Hello guys and welcome back to another video. In this video I'm going to be showcasing the new Game Pass character Wiki for 1000 Robux. This character, as you can see here, the stats are pretty much base stats. The dodges on 50 to 50 speed is 140 dodges. Now, this character has 10 moves, as you can see down here, and now it is time for us to try out these 10 moves. So firstly, we're going to try out the first move, Gaster Blaster. This spawns a lot of Gaster Blasters at one point, and they all fire at the same time. And you can use Shift Lock to simply spin around while you're using the Gaster Blaster to create some kind of shield thing, to make sure that enemies can't get close to you. Now for the next move, Gaster Blasters with an S instead of an R at the end, is simple. You summon 4 Gaster Blasters, 2 that fires at one point and 2 that fires a little bit further away from where you aimed the first 2. And that is the Gaster Blasters that you have. For the next move is Virus. As you click somewhere, it needs to be nearby or far, I don't know. They spawn in and a lot of copies of you run up to them and explode. And that is the Virus. Now it is time for the next one, Wiki Impact. As you can see, jump up into the air, slam the ground, and it creates a small circle of damage around you. So this is more or less nearby enemies. Next up is Bone Throw, and the bone seems to go just around you like that. Not really sure if that will ever be useful in a fight, as you cannot aim these bones. But if you're lucky, it will work. Next up is Quick Travel, as you saw right there. It's a speeding version of Shortcut. Instead of one shortcut, it uses multiple shortcuts. So let's try out how many shortcuts it does. As we can see right here, we got all the way to here with one Quick Travel. And now it's time for us to try out the Quick Travel on Shortcut version with Neon Sounds. We stand at the same place and we'll use shortcuts. We have used one shortcut and now we have to wait until the cooldown is over to shortcut. 3. And lastly 4. So about 4.5 shortcuts, or 5 if you wanna get to the point where you stood or further away from there. And the cooldown for Quick Travel might be better than Shortcut, not really sure, it feels better. As for the mainframe portal, it's same as most mainframe portal users. You spawn a portal and it gets you to this dimension, where you have 4 portals that leads you to another place, and other players can also enter this portal. Now it's time for the 8th move, Back End Manipulation. This move, as you can see while I'm using it, does not seem to work exactly. It doesn't show anything that it does, but I assume that something happens to them, as most of them just stand still and he starts spinning around like crazy. So it does something to players, so we'll be trying it out right now. As we have with our friendly little tester here, we'll use Bone Spin to just get it, and then while using the back end manipulation, all it does is this. Pretty much, it just makes it so you cannot see anything and the camera just teleports around. So it will be quite good to use in a fight. Next up is Power Cut. All it does is a beam from heaven strikes down your opponent. And that's pretty much that. It seems to have crashed the testing. Now Wiki Unleash is the last one. It spawns an orb that explodes, and then smaller orbs that explodes all around it. It could be useful in a fight, not really sure. Time for the range test on every moves. As we have the little friend over here that will be watching the range of the moves, it's time for us to try it out. The first one is Gaster Blaster, and it reaches all the way to the end. so anything caught in that blaster will take damage. Next up is Gaster Blasters. This move shoots 2 blasters in front and then 2 others at the sides. Next up is Virus, as this move seems to only be very short range, so remember that. Wiki Impact is the same as before, it only goes a small circle around you, not really a lot. Next up is Bone Throw. Again, this move will be like a very long range, but if it hits something, it will explode. And still, I don't understand it fully. Quick Travel, we tried it before. Mainframe Portal. As far as you can see, when you click, it will spawn a portal right there. It can be useful for trapping players and doing trolling stuff. Now for back-end manipulation, the cooldown is short, but its range is also quite far. But it's not infinite, do not forget that. So if used outside of range, it will be a waste. Next up is Power Cut. As you can see immediately, nothing happens, so we got a bit closer. And there we go. It hit him. Now it's time for us to try out the next move, Wiki Unleash. Same with the mainframe portal. If you can see where you click, it will spawn the giant orb and then the smaller orbs around it. Now it's time for the damage test. We have 105 dodges with this character. We'll be using Gaster Blaster, and as always, when using Gaster Blaster, if the enemy stays inside the Gaster Blaster, it will drain their dodges. Very useful for PvP. Next up, we have Time Sense. We'll be testing it on. The Gaster Blaster fires, and it only takes down to 20 dodges, so it doesn't take all of the dodges away. Now for next one, we have 105 dodges again, and let's try out the Virus move. And it seems like it deals about 204 dodges. Very good. But if the enemy has more HP than 17,779, it will kinda deal less dodges, depending on that. For Wiki Impact, you slam the ground and it just takes away 2 dodges. Next up, we have Bone Throw, and as you saw before, Bone Throw is quite useless in my opinion, as you must hit the enemy player directly or impact nearby, and this took a lot of attempts to get it correctly. But after a while, we finally got it to hit, and using Bone Throw is still one of, in my opinion, not a really good move, as it only takes 1 dodges away, and it's almost impossible to hit if you cannot aim it correctly. Next up, Power Cut. As this move deals that much damage as you up there, it takes about 7 dodges away. And this one dealt only 50k damage and not enough. Now for the character's dodge loose, he will keep saying, "Do you think the worst person can change?" A quote from Undertale, if you did not know. And as he dies, he simply says, "What a pity. Guess playtime ended. Farewell." And that's all for this video. Be sure to like this video, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys later. Goodbye everyone.